this sort of situation at length, where it involves fighter pay, where fighters that fight at the pinnacle of the promotion really shouldn't be going through something like this, right? Mariya Agopova here, everybody knows Mariya Agopova. If you're a UFC fan and with the women's division, Mariya Agopova says here in a week she'll probably be homeless, right? I mean, when you look at her situation, she says less than a month away coming into her return to the octagon. UFC flyweight standard Mariya Agapova revealed that she's on the verge of being homeless, and she went on social media and said she's been touched by some of the disturbing details surrounding her personal life, claiming that those that are close to her, these are people that are like close to her, family members or managers. I don't know, people that are really really close to her, attempted to exploit her and traffic her. And she said in about a week she'll probably be homeless, and she's not surprised because this is all this kind of classic calamity always ends up falling on her. And she said she don't trust nobody no more. She's looking for a charity shelter that is not going to exploit people for or try and sell her into sex slavery behind her back. Can you believe somebody's trying to tell someone that's made it this far into this world of combat sport? She's fighting for the UFC. This is a big promotion, and they're trying to sell her into sex slavery because of her financial situation. It should never be like that, bro. Like I've talked about fighter pay so many times. Yeah, we could talk about all the other promotions that's coming up. But if you're in the UFC, you shouldn't be fucking working anywhere else. You should be focused on that career, right? Joaquin Buckley, I remember when it was, when he made it into the UFC, I think 5, 6, maybe 8 fights in, he was still working at Walmart, right? Rob Funds delivering pizza. Like this should not be happening at the top end of the fucking spectrum of the game. It's baffling to me that people, all right, there are some people that like proper mismanage their money and shit like that. But we also know the pay packet of a lot of these fighters doesn't cut it. It don't cut it that they then have to go and double back and do some day shift work, maybe do some bouncing at nighttime at nightclubs. It's some of what these guys are doing on the side. Yeah, let me come to you on this one. I mean, this is something that it drives me nuts when I see shit like this. And we spoke at length many times about topics like this, brother. Talk to the people.
So on this one's a little bit tricky. I'm going to look at the actual facts around this. So I agree with you, fighter pay is an issue. But if you look at her story specifically, it's tragic that her family and friends would want to do something like that to her because that's absolutely disgusting. And my heart goes out to her, and I hope that she gets through this tough time because being trafficked by people is just wow, wow. But if I look at her record, her last three fights, I think were well, she's been in the UFC, but she was 2-3. She's out of Kazakhstan, and she's only fought about 4 times since 2020. Now that's the thing; she's inactive, so there's no ways that she'd actually be able to make the pay. Even if she was fighting more regularly, maybe if she was winning, maybe she would have, but she was losing, and so therefore, it makes sense to me that she is not able to earn what she needs to earn. That doesn't excuse what's happened to her. The other thing we need to look at, and this is something, and I think we might talk about this at length later on in the show, but there's another very active fighter by the name of Tapiwa Katikati who's been on a losing streak but has continued to fight. Do we then say that he shouldn't fight and then complain about the pay? So, there's a bit of a disparity between what these guys can actually achieve physically in terms of making sure they can earn versus what they can actually earn. So, like I said, my heart goes out to her, but unfortunately, she was not the best. She might have gotten to the pinnacle, but she wasn't able to compete at the pinnacle. And then the earnings didn't come in. And unfortunately, she found herself in a tough situation. So it's a very tricky thing when we talk about fight to pay because all these things need to come into play, need to be looked at when we're talking about a situation like this.
Well said as well. You always come correct with the facts, and the facts and context needs to be looked at in this situation here. My thing to not so much of a rebuttal, but maybe an alternative view is the conditions she was training in to lose those fights. The pay conditions, maybe not being able to pay coaches, maybe not being able to pay sparring partners, maybe the situation at home is what's really fucking up a fight. Not making excuses for her. You don't go around making excuses for fighters when they lose fights. But this, coming out with these circumstances now leaves the thoughts of what was she really going through at home to even be losing those fights in the first place, right? McDane, I don't know. Do you have a 1 or 2 points to chime in on this situation here with Mariya Agopova?
Yeah, so first of all, Captain Mate, we're going to get to that. Don't worry about it. And yeah, horrible situation. Yeah, I mean, having to bounce around different people's houses, couch surfing, basically. Yeah, I mean, to try and like find somewhere to live, and then obviously people, friends, family, whatever, almost putting her into sex slavery is absolutely fucking wild, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, that's mental. And they're doing it all behind the back as well. Like, these are the people you're supposed to love, trust, and think are going to support you, and then they're doing stuff like that. Is
crazy,
fucking crazy. And then how does that even like play with your mental, even like trying to go in for a fight or anything like that? Obviously, as Yao pointed out, I mean, I think she won a debut by armbar, I think it was, or maybe it was a submission of some kind anyway. Then she came up against Jillian Robertson, she lost one. Then she's not been able to get a fight booked since. I think she now has, let me have a quick look, I think it's Luana Santos in July.
Yeah.
She has now got a fight booked. And then she's literally said, like, I have no money for rent. I have to live wherever I have to. People exploit me. Like, it's crazy. Like, and obviously you get a paid fight per fight, and it comes back to that old, like, should there be a salary or should there be something that keeps them going throughout the year? Where obviously you can get some people that aren't savvy with the money and are a bit reckless with it and have to pay it all out straight away. They've got bills to pay. They've got like management to pay. They've got coaches to pay. Like, everything that comes with it. They got food that they need to eat, and obviously, I think you can go to the PI and they'll sort you out with your meals and your nutritional.
Don't forget the IRS. Taxman's waiting on your fucking
money.
All
of that. Yeah, just sitting there. No, yeah, just taking it. And depending where you fight, you've got to pay more. You know what I mean?
Well, you just said a swear word in my world.
Yeah,
tax.
Yeah, like, the taxman's always going to fucking get you. Like, I swear to God, but. Yeah, it's a shame. She shouldn't be in this situation. Thankfully, she's now got a fight set up, and hopefully that'll help her set something up in terms of living standards and getting away from the people that she needs to get to, and maybe tighten up a circle just with the right support around her.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more, because when you look at this situation here again, she might go into this fight that she's got booked and lose, which again, how does that vicious circle get broken? Because she's going into another fight in a situation like this. And she said this is not the first time she's going into fights in these sort of situations, where it's shit like this hanging over her head. And she's going into, into a fight, into a bout, a competitive one at that. And it's just like, what's her mental before going into a fight? Every single time. Like I said, we can't make excuses for fighters on their losses, but when something like this does come out, it gives you perspective into like what's the situation at home to really be going through something like this, man. Like us, and you man said it right. Just hope that she sex slavery, man. You know what I mean? Just hope she she gets through this situation here. It's nasty business. It's nasty business. And I hope the people that are trying to do this to her get to face justice as well, one way or the other, because it's not fucking right. It really isn't. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget we do our Dust Up Shakedown every Wednesday, 9 p.m. UK time. Don't miss it.